Hello, my name is Indranil Chakrabarty. I'm an associate professor of economics at the National University of Singapore. I've been studying auctions and markets for more than 25 years now, and I have been engaged by Kazi farms to study their egg auctions and to explain to the public how it works in light of some recent developments related to these auctions. I'll try to explain the Kazi farm auctions with the relevant context through a series of 3 videos. In the first video, I will talk about the competitive market that auctions often try to mimic. In the second video, I will discuss the use of auctions with examples from other countries. Then in the final video, I will discuss Kazi farms auctions and their ability to use auctions to raise egg prices for the consumers in Bangladesh. How exactly does a market like that for eggs in Bangladesh work? The egg market in Bangladesh is close to a textbook example of competitive market. But to understand the issue of price fluctuations, we need to discuss short-run market rather than long-run markets. Basically, in a short-run market, some inputs of production cannot be changed. Over the course of a day, you cannot buy more trucks to transport eggs from your farms. You cannot force your chickens to lay more eggs either. So you may not be able to adjust your output even if the price in the market is high. So what is a competitive market? Competitive market is an ideal market condition. In such a market, there is a market supply that describes how much the sellers would be willing to supply at different prices. If the price is higher, the sellers will supply a larger quantity than if the price is lower. But we'll talk about the short-run market. So for the ease of this discussion, we'll assume that the supply is fixed, even if prices change. This is not unreasonable when you try to understand daily egg prices. Similarly, there is a market demand which describes the quantity that buyers will buy at different prices. If the price is low, a larger quantity will be demanded than if the price is high. There are many buyers, so no single buyer can influence the market. What does short run have to do with competitive markets? In the short run, supply adjustments are difficult. So in the short run, markets may see high prices even if farms stick to their normal methods of selling in the market. The flip side is that if price is low, farms make losses. When sellers offer discount, it is not always that they're making only a lower profit. They could be making a loss and just recovering some of their cost. Let's say for now that the egg market is a competitive market. Do farms decide prices in the short-run competitive market? First, egg markets are not competitive markets everywhere. I'm only claiming that the egg market in Bangladesh is close to a competitive market. Now, to see how price is set in such a market, suppose there are 100 farms, each with a daily output of 100 eggs. On a given day, 10,000 eggs are supplied. Then, at a price of 11 Dhaka, the quantity of eggs supplied is equal to the quantity of eggs demanded. This, in economics, is called the competitive price or the market clearing price. If suddenly one farm decides to charge 12 Dhaka in this market, the buyers will just go to the farms charging 11 Dhaka to buy eggs. There will still be some unfulfilled demand of 100 eggs at 11 Dhaka. So some buyers will then go to the farm charging 12 Dhaka, but because it's a higher price, they'll want to buy less than 100 eggs from this farm. Suppose they buy 50 eggs as a result. This means that the farm will earn a revenue of 50 times 12, which is 600 Dhaka, instead of 100 times 11, which is 1,100 Dhaka. This large drop in revenue discourages farms from increasing their price from the market clearing price of 11 Dhaka. So farms in competitive markets do not have much power to influence price. In practice, a farm may be able to influence price a little bit. The bigger the market share of the farm, the greater is its ability to influence price. That is why cases that examine price manipulation by farms must look at farms' market share. So if one farm cannot manipulate market price, can multiple farms collude to increase market price? What prevents that? Again, it depends on what their combined market power is. And if they do not have enough market share together, then they will not find it profitable to increase price above the market clearing level. Are you saying that it's never profitable for farms to collude and charge a higher price? Not at all. If they have a larger combined market share, they may be able to charge a higher price. Still, it's not easy. Suppose in our example, farms A, B, and C collude and charge 12 taka in the market, each selling 50 eggs and destroying the remaining 50. Now, if a farm A breaks the agreement and sells at a price of 11 taka and 90 paisa per egg, buyers will buy all of farm A's 100 eggs first before buying at 12 taka from farms B and C. Farm A will make 1,190 taka, which is a lot more than the 600 taka that it would make under the price fixing agreement. What I'm saying is that it's very difficult for such farms to stick to such agreements unless there is a legal contract. Now, which court on earth will allow farms to make a legally binding contract for price fixing? Oil producers like Saudi Arabia and others have formed a cartel to decrease market supply and increase price. How are they able to do that if collusion is not sustainable? That's exactly where the issue of market power comes in. Out of a global oil reserve of 1.6 trillion barrels, the top three OPEC countries, Venezuela at 18.2%, Saudi Arabia at 16.2%, and Iran at 9.5%, have 43% of the world's crude oil reserve. Now that's market power. To make matters worse, while most markets make it illegal for their producers to fix prices, there's no international system that prevents price fixing between countries. So they can openly enter into price fixing agreements. How do we know that whether sellers have market powers in a market? The best way to understand market power is to first consider the situation where a farm has the maximum market power. Economics textbooks describe it as a monopoly market where there are many buyers so that they cannot influence the market price, but there's only one seller. So it has 100% control over the price and the maximum possible market power. Is the egg market competitive because there's more than one farm? With more than one farm, you need to examine the market shares of the farms. In the US, they use a very simple measure to determine if sellers have market power. It's called the Herfindahl-Hirschman Index, in short, HHI. They look at the market shares of different sellers as percentage numbers, then square these numbers and add them. For example, in a market with only one farm that has 100% market share, the HHI index will be 100 square equal to 10,000. That is the maximum concentration of market power that's possible. With two farms, one at 90% market share and the other at 10%, the HHI will be 90 square plus 10 square, so that's 8,200. That is also very high. In the US, you have to have HHI of less than 1,500 in order to be considered a competitive market for all practical purposes. Compare that with the egg market in Bangladesh, where the HHI is less than 30. Where is the market power there? If the market is competitive with very low concentration of market power, and the price is set comparatively at market clearing level, can we say everything is normal and sellers will not charge higher prices? Yes. In that situation, the farms may not have the ability to manipulate price. But that does not mean that prices will not be high. There could be market shocks like what happened as a result of the Ukraine-Russia war. In that case, the only way to ease the situation is through government policies and actions to ease the production and logistic problems. Why can't the government just set a maximum price to protect the consumers? The government can set a maximum price for the market. But if the price is below the market clearing price, there will be excess demand, what we call a supply shortage. And when there is a supply shortage, it often leads to black markets. Even if the government can prevent black markets, there will still be shortage in the market, and that leads to a whole lot of other problems. So the government these days try to avoid setting price ceilings. So what is the bottom line? The bottom line is that you could have a competitive market where nobody is doing anything illegal and still have fluctuating prices because of supply and demand shocks to the market. The only way to keep prices stable is to address the root problems. What is an auction? An auction is simply a set of rules for selling goods. The rules determine who receives how much and at what price. For example, you have the English auction for an object where the auctioneer starts at a low price and increases the price if at least two bidders are willing to pay the price. When the price reaches a certain level where only one bidder is willing to pay the price, the seller stops the price. The bidder is awarded the object at that price. Auctions may be carried out using closed bids too. For instance, in a first price auction, where bidders are asked to submit bids in sealed envelopes or electronically, the auctioneer then opens the bids, and the bidder who has submitted the highest bid wins the object and pays a price equal to the amount he bids. These days, with technology, auction rules are designed in a variety of innovative ways to meet specific needs. Why are commodities sometimes auctioned? It is efficient to sell commodities at market clearing prices, but it is difficult to determine what the market clearing price is because it changes from day to day. Someone who's selling a certain quantity of a perishable commodity like eggs will need to guess the market clearing price for the day and set his price. If he sets his price too low, his revenue will be less than what he's supposed to earn in that situation. If he sets his price too high, he will have unsold eggs. Eggs are perishable and may be completely wasted if they are not sold in time. So the best way to find the market clearing price is to hold an auction. The nature of the market dictates how precisely to set up the rules for discovering the market clearing price. You could hold auctions like the way Kazi Farms holds auctions with only buyers submitting bids, or set up a bidding process like the way Chicago Board of Trade does for their commodity markets, with both buyers and sellers submitting bids. The objective is always to figure out the price at which the market clears. Should eggs be sold at fixed price or auction? It again depends on the market situation. Ideally, you want to sell at market clearing prices. When wholesalers buy eggs in bulk from a producer, it's easy to have an auction and find the market clearing price. It is not so difficult to coordinate with relatively few buyers. Compare that with the retail market, where buyers come to the store over the course of the day. It's not practical to ask buyers to submit bids for eggs and then come back later after all buyers have visited the store and submitted their bids to find out if they will be able to eat eggs for that day. Imagine how your life would be as a consumer if you had to bid for eggs, then for salt, then for rice, and so on, before you could decide what you will eat for dinner. Selling in small amounts over the course of the day has the advantage that if the seller feels later in the day that the price has been set higher than the market clearing price and his unsold eggs will be spoiled soon, he can offer a discount for the remaining eggs. All these make fixed price a better way to sell in the retail market. Is it standard in other countries to sell farm products like eggs through auctions? Farm equipments and products are routinely sold through auctions. For a long time, livestock have been sold through auctions in the US. If you go to the USDA website, you will see a listing of numerous such auctions that take place every week across the country. Buyers of chicken, like KFC, ask suppliers of chicken to bid for their supply contracts. Cut flowers in very large quantities, much of it even flown in from all over the world, are sold through auctions in Holland. The list goes on. One recent success story is that of the Global Dairy Trade, or GDT platform, that has been designed in New Zealand to carry out auctions of a variety of dairy products, for which buyers and sellers participate from all over the world. How about eggs? Are eggs sold through auctions in countries like the US? There are small backyard farms that sell eggs through auctions, but you will not see big farms selling eggs through auctions in the US. Why aren't eggs sold through auctions in the US? The US egg market is very different from the egg market in Bangladesh. In the US, much of the egg production is done by a few big farms. Their largest egg producer, Cal-Maine Foods, has 13% of the market share. And they produce, on average, more than 35 million shell eggs per day. At the same time, most of the retail market is organized through grocery stores run by big retail companies, not by small traders in bazaars. The retail companies make their bulk purchase and contract directly with the producers. They do not need to have wholesalers in between, and they do not take prices as given because they have the market power to negotiate. Is it possible to use fixed price purchase contract system in Bangladesh too? What is the need for using auctions for eggs then? Fixed price contracts for selling eggs to wholesalers can be used in Bangladesh, but as I said, it's increasingly becoming popular to sell farm products through auctions across the globe because it's efficient, transparent, and fair for all parties from economic point of view. That is the reason why the New Zealand GDT auctions are becoming so popular, with more and more producers and buyers of dairy products joining their platform. How does the New Zealand GDT auctions work? The rules for the auctions are quite elaborate and available to the public at their website. It has been designed for buying and selling a range of milk products in a way that protect all parties and provide transparency to the satisfaction of the governments, especially the New Zealand government. The GDT auctions involve elements of both open ascending auction as well as sealed bid auctions, where buyers submit their bids privately to the auctioneer. Open ascending auctions like English auctions are costly to run but have their benefits. Sealed bid auctions are easier to conduct and involve less cost in terms of time and money. They also work better in preventing collusion between buyers. Every month, sellers list their products on the GDT platform. The platform opens bidding for the items to eligible buyers of these products. GDT auctions have reserve prices to protect the sellers. A reserve price is the minimum acceptable price for the seller. GDT calls them the starting prices, as their bidding starts from these prices. Most auctions in reality have reserve prices. Sometimes the reserve price is kept secret, as seen sometimes in the Sotheby's or on some online auctions. But in many standard auctions, especially those that have to adhere to requirements of transparency, the reserve price is clearly announced by the time bidding begins. The reserve prices for the different types of milk products at GDT are set by the sellers based on their costs as well as what they expect the market prices to be. Let's talk about price fixing and price gouging. Is it possible that the use of auction could be illegal? Absolutely yes. It's one thing to use auctions consistently to establish market price for the purpose of trading, and another to use it opportunistically to squeeze every paisa out of the buyer's pockets. The key word in most of these situations is opportunistic. Take, for example, the case of face masks in the US after COVID-19 broke. Typically, face masks are sold through retail stores. They always have been. But when there was a great shortage of face masks from retailers, some retailers went online and started auctioning the face masks, which allowed them to get a higher prices. This kind of departure from a selling method to take advantage of supply shortage is considered price gouging in the US. Some of the states prosecuted retailers for doing that. So yes, if you depart from your normal selling method to something different, to opportunistically extract money out of the buyers, then that is illegal in many places, even if that different method used is auctions. During times of shortage, price in auctions increases and sellers obtain greater profit due to competitive bidding. Isn't that opportunistic too? This happens in all auctions and all over the world. Consider the case of GDT. Their auctioning system resulted in efficiency in trade and was bringing down the prices for different products like anhydrous milk fat. Then COVID-19 hit and disrupted the supply chain. As year 2020 rolled on, the price started to climb up quickly. We, the consumers of milk products, did not like this. But it was not considered wrong or illegal. Bear in mind, this is New Zealand with strong consumer protection laws. Actually, I have never heard of sellers in developed countries who have consistently used the same rules for conducting their auctions being accused of price gouging because the price in the auction went up due to the market conditions. If auctions are so efficient, then why not use them for other farm and agricultural products in Bangladesh? If Bangladesh can organize such auctions for all farms and agricultural products, that would be very good, not just for the Bangladesh economy, but it will also help the farmers to receive a fair price. It will cut out the middleman profits too. There's no doubt that if the government can somehow set up a system like that, consumers will benefit immensely. What is the bottom line? Auctions are known as the most transparent selling methods for trading. And it's not just for farm products. Trading between businesses, selling licenses for all kinds of things, including licenses that your telecom company must purchase to provide you the mobile service, chairs and desks purchased by government offices, construction of military jet planes. Auctions are used everywhere now. Even in situations where auctions have not been used, businesses are coming up with innovative ways of designing auction-type mechanisms. Trading through competitive bidding generates huge gains and has already proven to change markets to the benefit of the consumers. With advancement of IT, this is where the world is heading. Why does Kazi Farm sell eggs through auctions? Eggs can have varying quality and they are priced accordingly. Larger eggs are sold at higher price than smaller eggs. Dark brown eggs are sold at higher price than light colored eggs. Now, the commercial eggs that are sold through auctions at Kazi Farms are of higher quality compared to the average quality of bulk eggs sold by farmers in the wholesale market. In the wholesale market, these better quality eggs are expected to be priced higher, and Kazi Farms must figure out the market clearing price for such eggs. They could guess the price, then hope and pray that all eggs are sold. They could also negotiate the price with individual buyers. Alternatively, they could hold a simple auction and establish a market clearing price based on the demand from these buyers. There is no guessing of price needed in this method, and it's arguably efficient, transparent, and fair. They have chosen the auction method. How common is Kazi Farm's method of selling eggs? The auction method that they use is a simpler version of what is popularly known as the uniform price auction rule. In this market, each bidder submits a bid consisting of the maximum price they want to pay and the maximum quantity they want to purchase. The auction price is then set at the market clearing level, that is the maximum price at which all the available eggs will be sold. All their buyers then pay that same price. Now, the last point needs to be emphasized a bit. The fact that all Kazi Farms buyers get to purchase similar eggs for similar prices is a very noteworthy practice, because when retailers have to pay the same price, they compete on a level playing field in the retail market. That competition is good for the consumers. Exactly how is this auction conducted? Every day, except Friday and some holidays, in the morning, Kazi Farms announces their offer price for the different eggs. In auction terminology, it is called the floor price or the reserve price. That is the price below which bids will not be accepted. The bidders have some time to submit their quantity and price bids. After that, Kazi Farms determines the market clearing price and how many eggs each successful bidder receives. To see how it works, let's take an example. Suppose bidder 1 bids 13 taka for 300 eggs, bidder 2 bids 12 taka 50 paisa for 600 eggs, bidder 3 bids 12 taka for 400 eggs, and bidder 4 bids 11 taka for 500 eggs. Based on these bids, if the price is above 13 taka, no egg will be sold. For a price above 12 taka and 50 paisa, but up to 13 taka, the bidders demand 300 eggs. For a price above 12 taka, but up to 12 taka and 50 paisa, the bidders demand 900 eggs, and so on. This is the market demand that the bidders have submitted. Now, suppose Kazi Farms has 1,000 eggs to sell. So that is the supply. At a price of 12 taka, the quantity demanded is exactly equal to the quantity supplied. And that is the market clearing price. Just like it would happen in a normal market. Is uniform price rule used anywhere else? Uniform price auction rule is used in many places and in many forms because it's fair to the buyers, all of whom get to pay the similar price for similar goods. Auctions are conducted in some financial markets under this rule. In Singapore, licenses for car ownership is sold by the government using a version of this rule. The New Zealand GDT auction is a more dynamic and more complicated version, but the idea again is to establish a uniform market clearing price for each product. So the list is again very long. If market clearing price is going to be established by demand and supply, then why does Kazi Farms have an offer price? As I said, what Kazi Farm calls offer price is known as reserve price in uniform price auctions elsewhere. GDT auctions also use reserve prices. They call it the starting price. And the starting price for the given milk product is set by the seller of that product ahead of the auction. Now, a reserve price plays some very important roles in auctions. First, it helps sellers to receive a fair price in the market. Eggs are sold by other farms too. Kazi Farms will have to ensure that the price they receive does not fall below those prices, especially when their eggs are of higher quality. A second and a very important role of the reserve price is to protect the seller. Auctions are transparent means of buying and selling, but they are not immune to certain types of problems. Bidders may collude and form syndicates, then submit low bids in the auctions and bring the price down. Think of this example that I mentioned earlier. Suppose the bidders form a syndicate and bidder 1 bids 1 taka 20 paisa for 200 eggs, bidder 2 bids 1 taka 15 paisa for 400 eggs, bidder 3 bids 1 taka 10 paisa for 300 eggs, and bidder 4 bids 1 taka for 500 eggs. They'll drive the auction price to 1 taka, causing a huge loss to Kazi Farms. This example is extreme because I wanted to show how it works. But it's not uncommon for bidders to do this in less obvious ways. Some years ago, major poultry producers in the US were charged with collusion and submitting low bids when they were bidding for supply contracts from KFC. It is rarely the case that a seller does not set a reserve price in an auction. So Kazi Farms' practice of setting offer price is very standard. How does Kazi Farms set its offer price? Could offer price help in price fixing? Basically, Kazi Farms estimates the likely auction price using available market information. And they set the offer price slightly below this estimate to encourage bidders to participate in their auctions. Now, it's important to understand that setting offer price in this way has absolutely nothing to do with price fixing. I don't know of any instance where a seller has been charged with price fixing for setting a minimum acceptable price based on estimated market price in its daily auctions. As for collusion, for price fixing, Kazi Farm has vehemently denied making any agreement to fix prices with the Tejgaon Egg Traders Association. It states very clearly that it has never communicated with either Tejgaon Egg Traders Association or anyone else with any intention to fix prices. Kazi Farm sets a minimum offer price to protect themselves. Then why did they increase the offer price when there is supply shortage? When you run an auction and want to have a good reputation as a business, you'll need to set your rules consistently over time. Qazi Farms' offer price tracks the market clearing price established in their auctions. As they have already checked the wholesale market egg price on the previous night, they know whether the egg price is likely to go up or down. They always set an offer price which is lower than their expected selling price, so that buyers will have an incentive to bid. Now, if market price rises, the offer price rises. And if market price falls, the offer price falls as well. Again, this is not much different from how reserve prices are set elsewhere for farm products. When there is a shortage of supply and the market price tends to go up, if Qazi Farm sets a higher reserve price, that makes auction price go up too, isn't it? Not really. This is a misunderstanding of the role of reserve price. The reserve price here plays a role only when there aren't enough serious bidders in the auctions. If there are enough bidders bidding in the auction and the demand is more than the supply, the offer price plays no role, except to safeguard the seller against potential collusion by the bidders. Think about the earlier example, where bidders bid 13 taka for 300 eggs, 1250 taka for 600 eggs, 12 taka for 400 eggs, and 11 taka for 500 eggs, with 1,000 eggs to sell, and an offer price of 10 taka and 50 paisa. The price there is 12 taka. Even if you lower the offer price to 1 taka, it will not change the price if bidders are bidding independently based on their true demand. The only thing that having a price of 1 taka could do here is to allow bidders to form a collusive syndicate and lower the price to 1 taka, like I discussed earlier. Is it possible that Qazi Farms could collude with some of their buyers and get them to submit high bids to raise price in their auctions? Yes, of all the possible ways to manipulate the market, this would be the most realistic way they could manipulate auction price. They could secretly enter into an agreement with one of their bidders to submit high bids to raise the price in the auction. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's take an example. Bidder 1 bids 13 taka for 300 eggs. Bidder 2 bids 1250 taka for 600 eggs. Bidder 3 bids 12 taka for 400 eggs. Bidder 4 bids 11 taka for 500 eggs, with Qazi Farms selling 1,000 eggs again. The auction price is 12 taka. Qazi Farms can secretly get the third bidder to increase the bid from 12 taka to 1250 taka. That raises the price in the auction from 12 to 12 taka and 50 paisa. Qazi Farm makes more profit, right? But then how about bidder 3? He bought the eggs for 1250 instead of 12. Now, when he sells to the retailers, he will have a profit that is 50 paisa less per egg. So he loses money to help Qazi Farms. Bidder 3 could avoid the loss by raising his price to the retailers by 50 paisa, but then he's going to lose his own buyers. There are more complex ways in which this could play out, which I will not discuss to avoid making this discussion too long. But what I really want to stress here is that if bidder 3 helps Qazi Farms to increase auction price, that would be reflected in the auction result. The colluding bidder 3's bid will then set the price in the auction. Now, Qazi Farms has been accused of colluding with Faisal Enterprise between August 9 and August 13. If they did collude, that would be serious. But if you look at the auction results, you can see that during that period, there was not a single auction in which Faisal Enterprises' successful bid became the selling price in the auction. Faisal Enterprise could have bid 1 lakh taka per egg in the auctions they were successful in between August 9 and 13, but that would not have changed the price in the auction even by 1 paisa. So the economic evidence in the data does not include collusion between Faisal Enterprise and Qazi Farms. So what is your conclusion from examining Qazi Farms auctions? It seems to be that Qazi Farms is following a very standard practice of selling. Auctions are designed by governments and private agencies to do precisely what Qazi Farms is doing, to set a market clearing price. The auction records would have shown a pattern of systematic manipulation if there was one, but you do not see any such pattern. Faisal Enterprises bids did not set the auction prices. You can forget everything that I've said and look at the concentration of market power in the Bangladesh egg market. With 3% market share, Qazi Farm stands absolutely no chance of influencing the market price in any significant way. Besides, they have been using the same method for carrying out their auctions that they have done before August 9. I tend to mention the US Department of Justice because the laws there are very strong and very strictly enforced. Yet, I have not found a single case where they prosecuted businesses with such low market share for collusion without clear evidence of telephonic conversations or email exchanges indicating some sort of collusion between owners or the managers of the businesses. It's commendable that Qazi Farms is using a modern method of trading to sell their eggs. It's a traditional bazaar-type market, with traders not being familiar with the modern trading methods. Yet Qazi Farms has introduced ideas like establishing market clearing price, charging similar prices for similar items to their buyers. If you ask economists with long-time expertise in auctions and markets, they'll tell you that this method should be used more widely to increase economic gains to both the producers and consumers. In the long run, that would strengthen the market and the economy. Yes, there has been price rise due to trucking problems, and there will be market shocks of some sort or the other in future. But to blame Qazi Farms auctions will simply discourage others from using modern trading methods in future. And that cannot be good for the producers and consumers of Bangladesh.